Inside of a ghost hunt.
Because they're colder than we are.
Exactly. We're looking for cold spots. This is a FLIR camera. This is what firemen use to actually help save people. This is an attachment for a cell phone. This is the real deal. This is not a phone app. The way this is set up, it's obviously going to record most of the night because the hardware is great, software sucks. If we record for too long, we're going to lose some footage and we don't want to do that. So I'll be giving the direction to let's go ahead and stop your video and kind of give it a rest. But we're looking for the blue and black areas that are in here because you guys should all be able to see me, right? Red, orange, and yellow guy? Yeah, sorry fellas, but I'm the hottest thing inside the camera right now. So that's kind of the way that one works. On bridal parties, that one kills, by the way. So Seth, just so you guys know. Blue and black, what are we looking for? We want them to either move or take shape into obviously some sort of figment that we can see, like a person. There is also a blue dot that's bouncing around this screen. The blue dot is showing you the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. So that way, it's kind of helping direct your eye on where to watch this video that you're going to get back. So, with that said, Bill, this one's going to go to you, sir. Okay. You seem like you're very technical, so I want you to have some kind of heavy-duty equipment. You're going to hold this guy horizontal all night long. I'm actually going to stop the video now that we've done kind of the quick tutorial on how to watch it already.
Taylor, Rachel, oh, you're giving me that one? I did like a one-click pony here. Oh, it is? Yeah. Have you done there? Yeah. Okay. That's fun. It is fun. If it's the one I'm thinking of, they actually have a cool one.
Good.
We're not really bike rally people, so
I'm not big on huge crowds. I love the riding and the area is beautiful.
All right, so welcome to your first stop. Have you had any letters pop up at all? No.
Oh, there was. It started with dot, and then it's changed.
You're not paying attention.
Yeah,
so whenever there's a full list and we kind of determine that there's nothing there, to reset it, you counterclockwise turn until it clicks, and then turn it back a quarter turn at 9
What
o'clock.
does DOT mean? That was the first thing. Dot.
DOT's Department of Transportation.
That's what I was going with.
I was thinking that somebody.
I was going, wait a minute, I know that
Okay.
one. I will tell you that the word September has already showed up on the word list, and we were near Big John's. He was born in September, he died in September. So hopefully the number or the year of his specific birth date or his death date will show up in the recording.
So again, should I be doing anything with this?
I'm going to go through some history, then you can open it up. You can open it up now. If it starts to be distracting, I'll ask you to mute it.
Okay.
So, welcome to your technical first space now that you guys have a better gist of how to use your gear. This is a parking lot. Congratulations, you made it. Again, lots of vehicles in here, so those of you with cameras, you kind of know the rules. Don't be filming cars for too long. But what is this place? This used to be the Eliza and Charles Pinckney Mansion. Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Charleses. Now do you guys see why we look for those secondary clues? We need to know which Chuck we're chatting with. So yeah, it becomes distracting for you, but I would say it's getting a little loud. But yeah, go ahead and mute it up. So we need to know which Chuck we're talking to. That's why we look for those secondary clues. And I don't like politics. But the reason I bring these guys up is because the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. Big deal. But again, I hate politics. So we're going to move on. We're going to talk about Eliza. She's way cooler anyway. Eliza married Charles at a young age. I'm going to say young according to today's standards, not the colonial times that she came from. So if we're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, we're not going to get numbers like 12 and 14. Think today's standards. The reason I brought that up is because Charles, her husband, was over double her age. So it's a pretty big, creepy age gap back then. Definitely a creepy age gap now. So kind of keep that in the back of your brains. But she married him because her father was over in England. He thought he was dying, and he's trying to bring all of his kids home so he could see them one last time. Eliza didn't think he was dying, so she got married in 1744. You don't get married in 1744 for a green card. We're not even a country. So she did marry him out of love, and she was right. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to this space right where we're standing. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. You guys have been in town for at least a few hours, right? You all got into town today. So indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. So some of you are wearing it tonight because that's what we actually use it for. She didn't know what to do with the seeds when she got them. She had to learn from her slaves how to keep it cultivated. So once she figured it out, she moved it to another plantation and got a hold of her dad and said, the rice plantations are going to shit. We're going to make a killing with this indigo. So now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times. This is the boring stuff of Eliza. This is her business. Let's get into the weird stuff, because that's why you guys are all here. So I normally assign a series of questions to all the different styles of spirit boxes based on what type you have. So with your Seth, it's going to be a matter of a grab bag, just because we never know what's going to pop up on that guy. I don't have enough. What letters do you have now?
Q-A-W-U.
Yeah, a whole bunch of nothing.
Wagyu.
Ragu?
Wagyu.
Wagyu.
It's good beef.
So,
Starts with a W, though. Exactly.
with yours, Rachel, you're going to go after Eliza's death. Anything you want to ask about her death, how old she was, what she died from. Yeah, she could focus on it too. Whatever people are comfortable with. I'm not here you have to say, hey, Eliza. I'm not going after that. It's whatever you're comfortable with. So, how she died, how old she was, where she died.
I'm asking her, okay, Eliza, how did you die?
Right.
What do I do?
And you wait for an answer.
Oh, God, help me.
And then there was a president that was a pallbearer at her funeral. If you ask her about that, we often get the answer. So, again, kind of keep that in mind. Seth, again, yours is a grab bag. You can go after whatever you want to, or just basically wait for initials. Eliza's got a bunch of stuff going on. With yours, because it usually only gives us 1 to 2 word syllables, we're going to stick with what happened to the mansion. So, again, it's not here, so that's pretty obvious. If you get an answer, ask when did that happen. We're looking for a date or any numbers relative to that date. With yours, you can obviously go after the marriage question, like the ages, but I also want you going after the kids. So with the children, I told you there's at least one, right? Charles, who signed on the Constitution. There are more. You can ask how many there were and what their names were. After that, kind of leave it alone. There's a tragedy among one of those children that if we poke the bear, we're going to know, because all activity is going to stop. Okay. So again, names, how many, very simple questions. If you're going to go rogue and ask your own questions, these are just lead-in questions. You can ask whatever the hell you want to, but make sure it's not a yes or no question or anything about slavery. Anything relative to slavery, there are no records of the Pinckney slaves. So again, I can't prove any of it. It's not that I haven't had evidence from it in the past, I just can't prove that it's legit. So again, just kind of stick with the family. So we are going to explore the space. I'm going to be keeping this guy, what's your name again, boss? Justin. How the hell did I forget that one? I'm going to keep Justin behind so I can teach him more about that motion sensor. But the rest of you, spread out. Go ahead and hit that red circle on yours. Let's get Eliza with a Z. A lot of people
Be able to remember that. My middle name's Elizabeth.
Oh, well, that was her full birth name was Elizabeth. She just went by Eliza because that was the times. So let's spread out. I'm going to keep Justin behind and teach him some more stuff. I know, right? So have you seen any numbers pop up at all? 0.2? Yeah, up to 1.1.
Eliza, what was your first name? Your first unmarried name, maiden name. Eliza, how many siblings did you have?
one's not easy. And again, we're only going to get about 10 to 12 terms total out of it. So that one's 10.
Figure out how to use this thing.
What other letter? You got a full list again? So at times, I'll say let's play with that sensitivity up or down. It's right below the red dot. So there's 3 different functions: EMF, temperature, and then tap, which I don't use the other 2, obviously. But if I say let's turn up the sensitivity, it's clockwise. So it's
Scanning the group, not the cars.
Scanning the group.
Yeah.
I thought he wanted the whole area.
Well, we're the hot spots, so that'll show you where the cool spots is.
You can usually tie them
But-
together here.
Okay, well, I'll cut it down right here. No, let's go another earbud.
How's it feel sign out?
All right.
What's coming up out of yours? Anything coming up yet?
Nothing concerning, but I'm getting the occasional blip that I get radio stations all the time. But occasionally I get something.
Again, with the radio stations, if somebody comes through and it says Charleston Rock, you know what I mean? Like, I get that it say Charleston, things that say Charleston I usually omit because of the radio station we're listening to, but if somebody says 93 Rock while we're here, and that's what came through loud and clear, Eliza died in 1793. So I look at that as like a first clue. We also have how she died on the word list. So now I have kind of a legitimate, okay, it's getting closer. Give me a little bit more about how you died in this year, what actually went on. So if they start getting multiple clues to the same thing, that's usually where I'm like, okay, we actually have something going on here. So again, it is the radio stations that are going to pop through. That one does pick up disembodied voices really well too. So that's what I love about it.
Eliza, how old were you when you died? I hear it.
The nice thing about that, like, you send it to YouTube so you can watch it however you want to. Like, I watch it on a pretty large computer screen while checking everything, so that way I can see everything nice and clear. But again, the cameras, it's not always the most exciting thing to shot, especially when we're walking around. Because normally you can just sit there and walk around.
You picked the right person.
Okay. Well, the heck of it is pretty, like, we had to put a lot of thought in the process of how can we make it last. Yeah, so it's actually a fast made by GoStop. They just altered it and took out infrared filters so that we can actually see the infrared. And I took away the bulbous length that they gave you with it. I hated it was too bulky. It left like weird anomaly things on the camera. So most people were like getting back to me like, oh, there's something moving. I'm like, no, that was the bulb. Yeah. So I found the torch, and then they revamped it with the infrared on the front as well. So there's 24 LEDs basically. I want to add another torch so it actually kind of crisscrosses this way. So there is going to be like a little diamond shape on the bottom right as it goes around. So I want to kind of get rid of that. So I'm hoping that.
Number 24.
Not to the top of my head, but doesn't mean that I'm not in another way. Any other letters showing up on your
Ask what the person died.
Right dead.
So, again, I'm the English guy, so I can usually like look at a scramble of words and see if there's actually anything in there.
CMV, you know what CMV is? Coronavirus.
You did not. We already have the answer.
Because that's from mononucleosis. Epstein-Barr.
What do you got now? Anything?
I know.
Did we give you the wrong device?
No, I'm great. Trust me.
Eliza, we want to know more about you. You know I already know all of the answers to the questions I gave these folks, but what do you want us to know tonight? We have all of these boxes out. You can get close to Justin's and like little metal stick there, and you know how to make that thing light up?
Yep.
Light it up, light it up.
We'd like to see the color blue if you want to show it to us.
I was trying to point that at me, dude.
I'm not.
Like the most loud before that.
When dead. No pun intended.
Brian, what's you got over there?
It just beeped at me.
If it beeps, it's probably just creating a new file. They stop every 10 minutes to create a new file.
That's the snow.
No,
Dumpster.
Stop it. Garbage in summer.
Listen, it might be Eliza. You never know.
Reset.
It's a low country boy.
You
That's
got
what
what?
that is.
Eliza, what do you want us to know before we leave? You're hearing nothing out of there?
I'm hearing a whole bunch of jumbled shit.
But what can you make out?
Nothing.
Eliza, what do you want us to know about first? Give us another clue to that. Come on, Taylor, help us out. What do you got? Any other letters popping up for you, Seth?
Just heard Ian or Ian. Exactly, but she got therapy on that. Brian, get back.
Mr. Elliott, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I got him from scanning the car park.
Seven what?
Seth did it then.
Give it another minute before I
What did I do?
Justin, yeah, take a lap, Justin. Let's see if you can find another hot spot. So it might actually be a restaurant there.
24/7. What I just heard. I really did.
12.4,
That one.
12.8, 21.4. Talk to me, Goose. Talk.
Andy, you want to show us the color? Eliza, you want to show us the color blue?
It just said something. I couldn't make it out. Now this is more internet. Oh, it just said bodies. Oh, that's so perfect. What song?
I know, right? Any other ratings for me, Justin?
Nope, just that 21.8.
And it went away, didn't it?
Yeah.
Alright, let's get you guys some answers. You do. Yeah, go ahead and mute that. Go ahead and kill your video. Hit that red circle or red square. Where the heck are we? This is Lodge Alley. When we crossed that last crosswalk coming down East Bay Street, that's where the original Charlestown Wall used to be. So, hey, how are you? Good, good. Just goes apparently. So you're standing on one of the first streets we ever had. So I have the full list of residents of every single person that's ever lived down here. Now it's not a lengthy list, and I don't know that Andrew is going to be on that list. I don't think so. But again, we're going to see if something else pops up with that because it's relatively close to another story we're going to be talking about here shortly. But the names Benjamin and John are normally what you guys will hear. That's 2 out of 5 people that lived here in 1801. I get those names about every 6 to 7 weeks. Right now we're on week 4 of that loop. So again, I keep track of it so I can kind of gauge when we're going to get it. I didn't expect you guys to hear those names tonight, but at the same token, I never know. here's why it's happening. You're standing on Belgian blocks. These bricks have been here since at least 1739. So they've been here a few hundred years at best. So kind of keep that in mind. They're not supposed to have any kind of EMF reading from them at all, other than maybe up to a 1.1, which is natural from the earth. So Justin, take your device and place it on any dry brick. I don't care which one, and just let me know if you get any numbers.
A dry one doesn't place.
That's all right. We're just going to keep an eye on the numbers to see if you get anything like a 2.5 or higher. To kind of explain what these numbers mean based on where we just were, we did get all the way up to a 21. In your home, behind your TV, you have a bunch of wires behind the television. If you were to put that device back there, you're going to get a reading of about 40 to 60 milligauss. We had a 21 in a space where there's no electricity. So take that for what it is. If you're standing next to a running microwave, that device is going to go all the way up to 150 to 170 milligauss outside of the microwave. The highest I've ever seen it go is at the last stop that we just were at, the Pinckney Mansion site. 214 milligauss. We left the area. I have epilepsy. Those are dangerous levels for a guy like
somebody
me.
get it home permanent.
So we left, and I had to go to another space for that because it was a matter of like, it was dangerous that night. So again, that's why I kind of give you guys those heated warnings at the beginning. Do you have any numbers coming up out of it besides a 0.6 that I can see? Okay, you can probably pick it up. We're probably not going to get anything out of it. But these bricks, because they've been here for so long and they're natural granite, it is said that any natural stone that's been in the same space for a long period of time can hang on to the memories of the things that occurred there. That's why we're getting the names on a loop. Every 6 to 7 weeks, we'll get those same two names, Benjamin and John. Did you get?
Places you'll go.
Places you'll go. I like that one, considering where we are. But at the same token, Ethan? I don't know. I'll have to look at it, but I always take a look at your full list of the morning.
Oh, perfect.
No, you're good. So the other thing about this location is the Freemasons used to have a lodge here, so that's why it's called Lodge Alley. Sorry, I was trying to write something down and talk at the same time. It wasn't working out. But we will get terms relative to the Freemasons as well. You guys will hear the term Illuminati on a radio station as we walk in. 6 times last year, 3 times this year so far. The funny thing about that is, who the hell is talking about the Illuminati on the radio? That's the first question. Second, why is it that we only hear it while we're in this space? We get other terms relative to them, so symbols, Mason, Freemason, that kind of thing. But again, we had Founding Fathers come up just a few weeks ago, which I thought was very interesting all by itself. But again, this isn't a space where we hang out and kind of ask questions, because again, it's on a loop. We're just kind of waiting for things to happen. Where we're going next is another alley. I will tell you that I've been booted out of one side of it, so we're going to kind of stay on our end and out of the way of the other tours. The reason I've been booted out is because you guys have all the blinky lights and the noisemakers, and it is considered residential at the other end. I'll tell you how I got booted out of it, because that's the fun part of that piece of history. So again, Nick getting in trouble is always a funny thing, so I'm the little guy that causes troubles. I know, right? So as we continue on, definitely continue listening to the spirit boxes. We're going to be going out as we exit the alley. So cut your videos until we get across the street back into the next alley. So this place is kind of a staple for Charleston. We're going to see a lot of other ghost tours. They're going to be cutting through us. We'll just park the C's when they need to get by. So this place is called Philadelphia Alley. It used to be called Dueller's Alley. We all tell the same story of a duel that occurred here because we can actually prove that it occurred. However, I tell it a little bit differently because you're ghost hunting. We're listening for clues and looking for things that actually are relevant to what actually occurred. So you're going to need those different details. Here's how it goes. He's making it a big elaborate story. I'm going to give you the skinny. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. Again, his name pops up often down here. He moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with this cash flow. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. I know it gets a little twisted up sometimes. So he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. Dr. Ladd comes to Charleston to prove that he's not after her money. So when he gets down here, the coachman that was bringing him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start to his stay in Charleston. Somebody was walking by. His name was Ralph Isaacs. I stop on Ralph because Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. R.I. Rhode Island Ralph Isaacs. So when we had IR show up on his little Ouija device over there, I was kind of like, we're a little too far away to start getting clues for that, but we never know. So again, that's why I had him clear it. And even before we had the Ouija board, the IR or RI was showing up on the different spirit boxes. It was the weirdest thing. So keep that in mind. Ralph tells the doctor he don't want to stay here. I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. There's a gunman inside. I got some friends at 59 Church Street. If Stay there, and you'll be safe. Dr. Ladd takes him up on the offer, and they become friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he's not after Amanda's cash. So, he becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. Every haunted city you're ever going to visit has a cliche whistling ghost. I can put my paycheck on it. So, this one we actually have proof of, and I'm going to get to that. But him and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money than Ralph. So they have to, he just gets better seats, if you were kind of confused by that. It's just the way the hierarchy went. On their way home from seeing Richard III one night, they're arguing over the new actress. Dr. Ladd thought she was fantastic, Ralph not so much. It gets really heated when Ralph starts insulting Amanda, the doctor's fiance back home in Rhode Island, and they go their separate ways. Ralph has friends at the newspaper. He puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charlestown what he thinks of the doctor. Dr. Ladd sees the ad and kind of rebuttals with, we're going to go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this shit once and for all. So they come down and they take their 10 paces, they turn, the doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. He wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight. But Ralph, his is one bullet. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. The doctor doesn't die either, but Ralph proved that he's still pissed off. The doctor's friends pick him up. They carry him home to 59 Church Street, and he died 10 days later after refusing medical treatment. Yeah, he's a doctor. He probably tried to bleed out the bullet himself. So that's kind of the way that goes.
Sorry, it's true.
The campfire part of the story is they say you can actually hear the whistles from the doctor. You all see how quiet it is down here? It is like this all the time, day or night, no matter if it's a busy Saturday afternoon or not. I used to take my tours all the way through here, and it was about to voice record. So it's part of the reason why I like to stop here now. Is I used to tell the story on the other side when I got booted out, but I'm kind of sneaking my way in so the new neighbor doesn't see me. But again, they say you can hear the whistles, and keep in mind, if you're going to try this on your own and walk all the way through, and you turn on your voice recorders from your phone, everybody knows this story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street on this side is going to throw a whistle down the alley. I do it every single night. We're going to end 1 block from here, and my garage is 1 block that way. I have to pass the alley. If my daughter's on the tour, we race to see who's going to throw the whistle first to throw off all the other tours. So, here's how we got booted out. This is the fun part. I told you that the alley we used to go all the way through, and that's because it didn't come all the way through this way. It was actually kind of cut off right near this gate. And I'm going to explain what that gate is here in a minute. But I would always show off the bricks on the other side because those bricks are sun-dried bricks. They're older than these. They're sun-dried from slave children. And we have 1 full handprint and fingerprint swipes at the end of the alley. Of course, you guys picked up I'm all about the history and trying to prove the paranormal. So I would always go past them just showing off the history of them because we all need to see it. However, everybody wants to try to get some kind of reading. The EMF, spirit box, they want to try to use it around that brick with a handprint. That kid's not staring at that damn brick in the afterlife. It's not a reminder he wants all the time. However, November 26th of 2020, my entire team is huddled around that brick, trying to get a reading. I'm trying to scoot him along because it's outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. The gentleman saw us, again, came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at, and we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I did not have a tour that day, November 27th. So I worked in retail for over 20 years. I'm sure you guys can appreciate I didn't want to work on Thanksgiving ever again. November 28th, I get a phone call asking me to go down halfway or to reroute my tour. I didn't think it was fair. We're going to let this one pass through if they're going to. But I didn't think it was fair for my groups of 10 to try to navigate around 20 to 60 other people and try to investigate a space. So I said I'm going to reroute, which is part of the reason why we're going to go through this. But you can come on through, boss.
Yeah. Sorry, y'all.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
How's everybody doing?
November 28th, that I didn't believe in the pirate story that we were going to go talk about. And I kind of was really hesitant about even doing it, but I didn't really have any other option because the other option was to go all the way through and get caught again. So I told my team, let's go see what happens with this pirate story. Before we leave, I didn't tell them who we were going to be investigating. Somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box before we left. And I was like, oh shit. We're going to be discussing female pirate Anne Bonny. So I was like, maybe there is going to be something going on tonight. I did not plan that. We get down there, I told that little bit I didn't know about piracy, and somebody else hears the number 300. I have no idea what that number 300 means to the story. So I'm doing my research the next morning for them. We were there on November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was on November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. So I keep taking y'all back there in hopes that we're going to continue capturing more things. And I've read more damn books about pirates than I ever wanted to. I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. I know more about friggin' pirates than I do vampires at this point. So the cool thing is that you're going to learn a shit ton about pirates that you never even thought about before. But it's a hit or miss location. We're either going to have a ton going on or nothing. It's one of those spaces. On a Pinky Mansion site, we get some nights where it's a little lighter than others, but we always get a little bit of something. This place, it's literally all or nothing. So the cool thing is it's a great story. So, with that said, if you guys want to continue with your voice recording or your videos, you can. We're going to be in a very popular space and just stay out of the other tour's way like what we're doing here. Oh, the gate, by the way, that you all saw and said was so beautiful. That gate, remember this alley didn't come all the way through. It was cut off right about where we were. That was a shortcut for the loser of the duel, the dead guy, to go to the cemetery. So instead of carrying him all the way down to Queen Street and down and around, they used that as a shortcut to go over the courtyard to go to St. Philip's Cemetery. The gate wasn't always there. I'm going to say that the gate, based on the ironwork, was probably there in the early 1900s, 1910s roughly. So again, that's why the gate is there. Not many people know that, but again, this thing was cut off. I have a whole history of this location, because we get shit about it all the time. I love when I learn new things from what you guys are capturing. So again, do you have anything else weird on your device before we leave?
Present, humanity, homework, airline maze.
Yeah, nothing. Any letters coming up for you? Just read them off. I can unscreen them.
K, T,
A lot of K's. Yeah, I'm not real comfy with that at all.
That's what I said. That's
Wow.
what I said.
Yeah, definitely not comfortable with that. Any numbers pop up for you?
None.
I had an 18 show up here last week. I was super surprised. I was the one using the device because it was a much smaller group. It was supposed to rain that day, so I always take a device or two if I have to. But yeah, I had an 18 show up here, and I was like really shocked because I don't normally get a whole lot of readings out of this space. All right, let's head up to the Crazy Powder magazine and discuss some crazy ass pirates. You guys ready for some R-rated stuff? Yeah, big deal. Mary's like, yeah, pirates, really? Talk about pirates. That was something, what? What did it say? Hopefully I wasn't unzipping something. Come on up this way, guys. Yeah.
Is there a black graveyard around here?
A what?
A black graveyard.
Like a slave graveyard?
Yeah.
A lot of those you're going to find are going to be near, like they're going to be almost like in the neighborhoods, like in the north areas. So, especially along like, if you go like up where the wharfs were, you're going to find a lot of slave portions of graveyards right there. So I'm kind of taking advantage of no tour being up here right now because every ghost tour in Charleston stops here. So if you guys huddle around a little bit, I'm going to show up the sign. The sign here says that there's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost. There's a reason for that. I usually let the other ghost tours have this as their big finale because it's something for them to show. You guys are obviously playing with toys and gear, so that's usually, I just stay out of their way, but there was nobody here. I'm like, yeah, sure, we got time. So the reason why this sign is here is because in 1888, a young lady died by the name of Sue Howard Hardy. So we talked about initials with Ralph back there. Sue's initials show up here all the time. SHH. Shh, it's cheesy, it's campy, I hate even telling you, but it does show up all the time for us. So she dies 6 days after her stillborn child. Very sad story. 1987, local photographers in town, he's taking pictures of all these beautiful cemeteries, and he captures a full apparition. He does capture a full apparition in one of his photographs. So it's 1987. This gentleman does not have the tech that we have now. So he sends it off to Kodak. Kodak doesn't know what to do with this photograph either. Of course, his man was a photographer, so back in those days, you actually develop your own film. So he has no idea what's going on with this photograph. So for guys like me, this thing is gold. Like it's pretty crystal clear what's actually on this photo. I will tell you that it is said to be cursed. That's why normally when I'm giving like this heated warning, it is cursed to females. So females that are handling it, even in a digital format, like on a tablet or a phone, are said to have headache, nausea, dizziness, like what we talked about earlier. Pregnant females are probably not going to have a good pregnancy based on the gist of the story. So I always ask when I'm showing off this photograph, do not touch the tablet. Like, again, that's a big deal. I'm not going to be the guy where somebody had a great honeymoon and 9 months later I cursed your family. So kind of keep that in mind as I show you the photograph. I will kind of go around the room with it so we can kind of see the detail of it. But again, this is why every other ghost tour stops up here. It's very rare that I stop up here. So this is the full photograph. Your apparition is right here. You're looking at a woman praying for her grave. That's her headstone, and the baby basket is next to her. This is probably another instance where the baby's probably buried with mom. So again, that's probably why the baby basket showed up. So full picture.
Which one is that at?
So yeah, it's when I think she's like backing off to the left. So I've never been inside the cemetery because it's always closed off for renovations. Not to mention there's a lot of prominent Charlestonians in here. So this particular side is for native Charlestonians only. So there's your woman praying over the grave with the baby basket next to her. The other side is for everybody else. Your 7th Vice President, Andrew Jackson, Jackson. So John Calhoun is buried on the other side. They actually moved him several times trying to figure out where he was supposed to go. So again, when you had the name Andrew show up, we were very far away because the name Jackson will often show up when we're investigating Anne Bonny across the street because John Calhoun served under Andrew Jackson. So we get a lot of clues in the month of March with John Calhoun because that was pretty weird. Yeah.
She said, shh, there's not one letter.
I mean, I got the word malicious, and I was like,
Why don't have my name on the list?
She says, shh. Even that dog said, shh. Did you hear it?
As far as Sue Howard Hardy and her husband Gaston, I've been trying to dig up like where they actually lived. Go ahead and reset. Where they lived, so I can kind of have a leg up on all these other tours, and those census records have been destroyed. So it actually just skipped one of those census years, so I might actually have to go back a little bit further. So, and of course, it's going to be under the husband's name based on the year, so it's going to be the 1882 census instead of the 1886. So, again, I have to dive in a little bit deeper. But yeah, let's head across the street and let these other tours have this corner, because again, this is usually their big finale. You're welcome. All right. So, 7 years in a revolution. Wait. So that can be relative in one of two ways based on the entire context of it. A lot of times we'll hear the number 7 twice over here. That's the doctor's birthday, July 7th, 7-7. So it depends on how many times we hear it. The number 7 is very prominent to this whole corner. John Calhoun, that we were just by, 7th Vice President, Revolutionary War. So again, I think that the little tiny building we're about to start talking about, that is the Powder Magazine. Served 7 different wars and a rebellion.
I can already tell that looks crazy.
So we are here to actually talk a little bit about that building and why we're actually here. So this place is what I call a familiar. This is going to be in the relative same time period of when Anne Bonny actually came to Charleston to start her new life. So that's why we're here. It's kind of like using a toy to attract a child ghost. That's why it's a hit or miss location, because she's actually said to be seen all over town. So what is that building? Those are not crosses, first off. Those are earthquake bolts. If you're not familiar with earthquake bolts, the gist behind those is that if we have another earthquake like what we did in 1886, you can tighten them because they're turnbuckles, and it'll help save the building from any damage that occurred. It's kind of a neat idea, but that shit don't work. The reason I bring those up is because that's the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston put in, because that's the oldest government building we have in South Carolina, like the whole state. So it was finished in 1713. Again, this is the time period of when Anne Bonny came here. So let's get into it. First off, that building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? No, not at all. I'll answer for you. But in the middle of its construction, 1708, is when Anne came here with her father and his mistress from Ireland. His mistress turned out to be her mother. Are you guys all with me so far? There's some crazy twists in this shit. All right, the 3 of them are running away from his angry wife. How mad was she that she got to leave Ireland to come here? Just point that out. They land in Georgetown, which is just north of here, between us and Myrtle Beach. Dad bought a plantation. Mom died pretty quickly. So that means he has to send young Anne down here to be able to sell things from the plantation and keep things afloat. Now, Anne, back home in Ireland, kind of a badass chick. I'm just putting the mentality of this young lady in your hands, in the back of your heads. So when she was real small, probably 8, 9, 10 years old, they say she killed one of her servants with a knife to the belly. So again, just kind of a hardcore chick. Fast forward. 1713, this is done. By 1715, pirates are coming through town. Anne falls in love pretty quickly because she wants her freedom, just like a man. Yeah, first guy. We're going to count him off. His name is James Bonny. You already see where this one's going because we already mentioned her full name. Dad didn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. So they run away to Jamaica, they elope, get married. Anne Cormac is now Anne Bonny, a famous female pirate. However, this guy is not Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for, because every young lady wants a Johnny Depp and they're on their arm, right? This guy is a privateer. He's a spy for the British. This is not who she wants. A few years later, she falls in love again. This is John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. This is literally the character that they based Johnny Depp's character after. So again, I'm going to show you what he looks like later on. It's very interesting. But anyway, Calico Jack has his own ship and wants to be part of it. Can't put a girl on a pirate crew. Does anybody know why? Besides the fear of rape?
Bad luck.
Bad luck, right. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy, you can look like the crew, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy back home in Ireland to keep her away from his wife. So again, she's like, whatever, it's a man's world, I'm a pirate, let's go. Female in his quarters, though, she's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a female. So he drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby over here. They're friends of mine. Come back later. We'll figure it out. She has the baby, returns with no child. We have no idea what happened to the baby. She's also dressed like a female. This makes Jack pretty pissed off. And while she was away giving birth to his kid, he captured another pirate crew. They're down below deck. Anne's going to go down and flirt with that pirate crew because that's what Anne does. She's trying to make him even more mad. Guy number 3, by the way, in case you guys lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy, to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females, dressed like males, trying to be pirates on the same ship. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Her and Mary become friends, possibly lovers. We're never going to know for sure. And the British find out where they are. They send an entire fleet of ships to come take down one pirate ship. Anne and Mary are the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with their 1-bullet flintlocks because they don't know how to use the cannons yet. But obviously 2 ladies are not going to take down a fleet of ships. So as they're being arrested by the British, Anne looks at her boyfriend, Calico Jack, because she's not married to him, and she says, "You should have fought like a man instead of being hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up here for us all the time. The judge, his name is Nick as well, so when you guys hear my name, it's one of 3. I'll explain later if it pops up. But the judge, he wants to see the 2 men that fought back so valiantly on their own after he's tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that wouldn't fight. So they're dead and gone 2 days before. These 2 ladies go in front and reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves. He doesn't give a shit that they're female. They're still pirates. They were out plundering away. So he says, "You're going to be hung." "We plead our bellies," was the last thing they said to him, trying to claim that they were pregnant. You can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail. Dad is still here in the Charlestown area with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne, brings her back home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary Reed because we don't know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending because we know nothing about her life after her pirate career. Mary Reed dies a year later, 1721, from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. Most articles and books will tell you that it was fever. I'm going to call bullshit and say it was scurvy. So, very scurvious, in fact. 2 things I left out of that story for all of you communication device folks, because you guys hopefully know what you're doing by now. You spent enough time with me. I left out the name of Anne Bonny's parents on purpose. So you can ask, that's the father and the mistress, you can ask what their names are, and these are just starter questions. Everything else is going to be fair game. The other thing I left out is the name of Calico Jack's ship. So hopefully we get that full answer tonight. It's not often that we do, but sometimes we do. Justin, your device, you're not going to get a whole lot of numbers unless you're close to the parking meters and the electrical poles. Yours is all about the colors in here. You're going to ask Anne Bonny what her hair color is, and hopefully she's going to show you.
I have the word fair. F-A-I-R.
Interesting. Very interesting.
He's like, I got a word now I'm even supposed to have.
I finally got a word. I got a word.
We'll
Fair.
take it. Well, he had Dot earlier
Why does that make me laugh so much?
because he has something.
Yeah.
Like, it's exciting. So at least it's something there.
Well, I wasn't being weird, but you said that with those K's, too many K's.
Yeah.
When we walked around the corner, she says it says black. That's why I was asking if there was a black cemetery. Because she said, when we were walking around that corner, she says it just said black. I was like,
Your spirit box said black?
It did.
that's what I was asking when
Right
we
before we
walked
got
up
to
there.
the
I wasn't
church.
being racist. I
Before
was
we got
saying,
to the
is there,
I didn't take it that way.
yeah. She said,
I will
it
tell
just
you.
said black.
I will tell you that most pirates were black. You have to remember that these
Oh,
pirates were plundering
yeah,
cargo
of
ships.
course.
And their cargo was man hands. So it was a matter of like, do you want to become part of our ship, or are we sending you along to go be enslaved in the New America? So again, most of them took the offer of being a damn pirate. So again, it's not uncommon for us to get. I mean, the story of Black Caesar is a
Yeah, I was just saying, I didn't.
There's a lot going on.
it's interesting.
All in the
Death,
movie, it was
too.
the Black Pearl.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, look at you.
I'm going to steal you guys for
Pirates
one
of
more
the
minute
Caribbean.
before I spread you guys out. So
What?
there's one more minute. 1 minute.
No, I mean,
Patience.
spread me out.
Wow.
Oh my god.
I don't want to do that.
Who said this was going to be rated R? I had to.
Two X's on here, XXX.
Oh my god.
Wow. So, on a serious note, there's a reason why I tell you guys that heated warning at the beginning. Last September, about a year ago, I had my team back here just like this. The kid next to me goes white as a ghost, like he's about to pass out. And it was a nice cool night like this. So I had to pick him up by his armpit to stop him from hitting his head, like he's dropping like a wet noodle. His boyfriend picks him up from the other side. We get him over to the wall so he can sit down, feel better, bottle of water, you guys get it. So we got him back up to health. I then tell them the story I just told you. They don't know anything about pirates or Anne Bonny yet. I go spread everybody out, and They stop me and say, Nick, we have to tell you, we are two transgender males. Meaning I had two females dressed as males on my tour, just like Ann and Mary in the story. This is the weird shit that I see, guys. Psychics normally don't make it past the Pinckney Mansion site. We do get much higher readings on the EMF, and that's usually the deterrence. And we don't usually have a whole lot going on, but the psychic is picking up things that I didn't even talk about that went on in that location. So again, I can't explain a lot of the things that I see.
As soon as you started talking about that picture you were showing over there, I was dizzy. I wasn't going to tell you. In front of that grave, that's what I was saying. When you pulled that picture out, I was like, okay.
Things happen. And she had the word black, and you guys had all those cases show
weird
up.
when you pulled that picture out.
Very
before you
interesting.
pulled it out.
Normally that happens over here. I'm just being blunt and honest with you.
Over there.
Normally you guys will start feeling a little bit of heart palpitations over here, and I bring you guys back here on purpose because we're close to the grave. Are you okay over there? So those of you with cameras, you can go visit the front of the Powder magazine if you'd like. So you have to exit the lot and make a left. Just don't interrupt the other tours. I'm going to go over there and chill by the wall and wait for you guys to you guys all know what you're doing by now. I will be bouncing around from time to time, but this is usually where I'm like, oh, they know what they're doing. I'm going to go chill and smoke. But you guys are at work. You guys are working right now. You didn't even know it. You paid me to go to work. All right, let's spread out. And let's see what we can find.
Spreading you out.
Oh my god.
I do want to see the word list.
I'm over here.
I'll be serious. I don't.
Spirit. Or better.
My God, you started talking there. I was going to be busy when you started.
What? Don't do that.
No, that's a Nick excited. Yes, that's something else. So, Dr. Lamb. Go coach. His sister was published.
It's locked up, but it's crazy over there.
Okay.
question. It was not one of our guys, so he's coming back.
Okay.
What, Seth?
It's okay. I kind of helped her with hers. And the only clear thing whenever we asked what you did to your kid was mistake after that, and then it said thing on her thing. Other than that,
What's
I
funny
had
is we
nothing.
will get the song "Girls Just Want to Go Fly" all the time.
We got 7.
Oh, that's her.
Everything inside is all
It's going up to the 2 pretty steady, 2.5, 2.7.
So if it's staying in that area, it's probably coming from the electrical pole.
That's what I thought. I seen it blind. But
Yeah. Anything else from that ear, Mary? Any letters?
Set is BIC.
I'm waiting for another word to pop up, something to match up with Mary Bird. So, so she's her name Charlie. And that's interesting because the two Charles people are very across the street. So like the husband and the husband. And a lot of times if we get one of the, obviously the Charlie or Charles, we'll get another term that's very relevant to which one it is. That word is promise.
Oh, it's that damn electric line.
We will get Charles and Promise usually in the same place. So again, you guys haven't told me the word promise yet.
Nope.
But again, it will show up.
This is so loud. I know being loud. This is just so loud in my ears.
That didn't go to the can. Touch the metal stick. What's your hair color? And what color is your hair?
6 o'clock. Whatever.
Say what you need to say out loud.
Yeah. No matter how stupid you think it is.
I got took. That probably means nothing.
What does it say?
Took.
How's yours coming? You seeing anything crazy?
I have not seen anything yet.
Any other letters besides biz?
Fermented?
Yeah, super fast.
I just heard prevented.
That's it. What?
Mary.
Are you listening or are you not listening?
Oh, I'm listening.
Okay. Here's our cue. Alright, guys. So, I'm excited about 6 o'clock. Yes, I'm excited about the name Mary. Again, the other ones, they're very loose relative clues that I'm like, yeah, I like Charlie, you had Red show up. Like, seems like a lot of things were coming out of yours. So Charlie's, because two Charles Picknings, like I said, are buried across the street. I'll be listening for the word promise or nephew or something along those lines to usually define which Charlie is actually coming through. The number 6, Sue Howard Hardy died 6 days after her stillborn child. So I'll be looking for other clues relative to that. At times, the word list will give us the words cold baby right next to each other. So again, these things do happen, guys. That's why we're out here. So I think like based, like, this is lighter what I normally see in real time. However, you guys gave me a lot of like really good little clues of hopefully I'll be able to piece some things together in the morning. For those of you with cameras, feel free to go ahead and stop them. I'm going to give you guys the measly answers of the two